nobody thought the ocean was this deep. So all of a sudden we've got scientists saying, why is that?
That's where the deepest part of the ocean is.
Yeah, Mariana Trench is long. It's about 1,500 miles long, and there's a part of it called the Challenger Deep that's the deepest place.
Deep beneath the ocean's surface, in the darkest depths of the Mariana Trench, something was captured on camera, something no one ever expected to see. It all began with a simple mission, a small probe quietly sent down into the abyss to gather data. Everyone thought it would be just another routine dive, but when the probe's footage was reviewed, the scientists who saw it were shaken. Strange shapes moved in ways that made no sense. There was something there that looked oddly familiar, yet completely wrong, like nothing anyone had ever seen before. This video was never meant to be shared, yet parts of it began to leak out. Exploring the deepest spot on Earth, far out in the western Pacific Ocean, southeast of the Mariana Islands, lies the Mariana Trench, a vast, deep trench in the ocean floor. Imagine diving nearly 11,000 meters beneath the ocean's surface. That's how deep this trench goes. The very deepest spot, called Challenger Deep, plunges to about 10,911 meters. It is the deepest place ever discovered on Earth's seabed. If you placed Mount Everest at the bottom of this trench, its peak would still be 2 kilometers underwater. Ocean trenches like the Mariana Trench are enormous depressions in the ocean floor. They are not rare. More than 50 large trenches exist worldwide. Most of the deepest ones, including the Mariana Trench, are located around the Ring of Fire, a circle of active volcanoes surrounding the Pacific Ocean. These trenches form where two tectonic plates collide. One plate is pushed beneath the other, creating a very deep crack or trench in the Earth's surface. The Mariana Trench is the darkest and deepest place on Earth. The pressure there is incredibly high, strong enough to crush a submarine. For decades, scientists have explored this mysterious and forbidding place, hoping to discover new creatures and unlock the secrets of our oceans. However, some discoveries have been so strange and unsettling that they were kept secret and never revealed to the public. Now, we are ready to share what scientists have truly found at the bottom of the Mariana Trench and explain why these discoveries might change everything we thought we knew about our planet. The deepest, most mysterious sound on Earth, far below the ocean's surface, in a place colder than ice and darker than a cave, a strange noise was heard. In 2014, special underwater listening devices in the Western Pacific began picking up a peculiar sound that puzzled scientists. This noise wasn't a one-time event. It recurred for 2 years. The sound was deep, fluttering, and mechanical, and was called the Western Pacific Biotwang. Yet, its source remained unknown. The sound did not match known natural phenomena such as underwater earthquakes or landslides, nor did it resemble any known whale songs or fish noises. It varied in pitch, pulsed, and sometimes sounded like metal bending. It originated from the Mariana Trench, the deepest and most hostile place in the ocean, more than 36,000 feet deep. Despite the harsh conditions, something was producing this repeating sound. Scientists were both intrigued and confused. Some speculated it might be a new natural sound created by the trench's geological features, while others thought it could be a call from an undiscovered creature. Some wondered if old Cold War machines or unusual biological mechanisms were responsible. Other theories suggested the sound followed patterns similar to animal migrations or mating calls. Some even proposed it might serve as a way to detect objects or act as a lure. In 2023, a special mission with advanced equipment and an underwater drone was launched to study the sound directly. During the expedition, a camera accidentally recorded something at the bottom of the trench that scientists now discuss quietly worldwide. Earlier in 2016, another team believed they had solved the mystery, and for some time, the world accepted their explanation. The Western Pacific Biotwang has since been identified as a call from baleen whales, likely mink or bride's whales, which can live and move in deep ocean areas around the Mariana Trench. These unique whale calls combine low moans and metallic ringing sounds, which initially made them mysterious. The authoritative bride's whale story everyone needed. In December 2016, the mystery of the biotwang noise seemed to disappear quickly. A group of scientists from the U.S., the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, announced they had an answer. The sound was probably produced by Bride's whales, pronounced brudus. These whales are large, slender, and inhabit warm seas. They produce sounds that scientists had not fully understood before. The biotwang turned out to be one of these sounds, finally recorded in the right place at the right time. Initially, this explanation appeared correct. Bride's whales are elusive. They do not breach like humpbacks or sing long songs like blue whales. They are among the least studied whale species. Scientists said that there was insufficient information about all the sounds they make. If the biotwang was a new sound never recorded before, it likely resulted from a lack of careful or prolonged listening. Many marine scientists felt relieved. After years of investigating the strange mystery, attributing it to a whale was a simple, clear explanation. Scientific papers supported the Bride's whale hypothesis. The strange noise ceased to be reported, and the media lost interest. The story faded from public attention. However, not everyone accepted this explanation. In private discussions, some experts continued investigating. A significant concern was the depth from which the sound originated. Although Bride's whales do dive, they do not typically reach the Hadal Zone, ocean depths below 20,000 feet. The Mariana Trench is much deeper, and no whale has ever been observed living or vocalizing at those extreme depths. The biotwang was recorded repeatedly from these very deep locations across different seasons, with nearly identical sound patterns. This was suspicious. Natural whale calls usually vary depending on age, season, stress, location, and individual differences. Yet the biotwang's pitch, rhythm, and length remained constant, as if the sound was being replayed mechanically rather than produced naturally. Additionally, researchers noticed a slight magnetic anomaly during some recordings, unrelated to known whale behaviors. Though weak, it led some scientists to wonder, could this not be a whale after all? Could it be mimicking one? Despite these doubts, the Bride's whale explanation remained popular because it was simple and neat, managing the mystery effectively. In both science and life, the simplest explanation often becomes the accepted one, even if it might not be completely true. Years later, a new expedition was launched, not to directly challenge the whale explanation, but to learn more about the trench itself. What they discovered would change everything. The voyage that redefined ocean exploration. The Mariana Trench once again captured the interest of scientists, but this time it was different. There were no major announcements or news headlines. The mission was described as a routine acoustic mapping project. However, the small team of oceanographers, biologists, and engineers understood its significance. This was the first planned return to the exact location where the biotwang sound originated. But now they had better tools, more questions, and fewer guesses. An international group of marine institutes led the team, which departed from Guam aboard a ship specially modified for deep-sea exploration. Their main instrument was a sophisticated underwater robot called Echafall, tested to operate at depths up to 11,000 meters, nearly as deep as the Challenger Deep. This robot was not only equipped for filming, but also served as a laboratory, a sonar device, a seismic monitor, and a sample collector. Their objective was straightforward on paper: to record deep-sea sounds with sensitive microphones, collect sediment samples from areas suspected of biological activity, and map glowing microbes on the trench walls. But everyone knew the true goal was to better understand the biotwang sound, its cause, and its environment. As Echafall descended into the deep, dark, and high-pressure depths of the trench, it gathered new data. The trench walls were not inhabited by large fish or monsters, but by hardy microbes that emitted a faint glow. These glowing colonies spread across the rocks, indicating complex chemical processes. Some microbes utilized hydrogen and sulfur in novel ways, challenging previous assumptions about life in extreme environments. The sediment samples were equally intriguing. They contained fine particles embedded with metals and evidence of ancient life cycles. One sample even contained tiny fibers resembling cartilage, possibly from soft deep-sea creatures never before identified. The recorded sounds resembled the original biotwang but with subtle differences: lower tones, irregular patterns, and unusual harmonics. These were not exact duplicates but new variants. This raised a significant question: Had the first sound been misunderstood, or were different sources producing similar noises? The team was excited, believing they were on the verge of discovering a complex new biological system. But just as hope was at its peak, Echafall began transmitting strange signals, interference never seen before. What started as static soon grew into something impossible to ignore. The mysterious interference nobody understood. The strange data didn't seem important. The team had spent weeks monitoring signals from the bottom of the trench, so short signal losses were normal. At such an extreme depth, over 10,900 meters, communication was always difficult. Radio waves don't work underwater, so Echafall, the underwater drone, used sound pulses like sonar to communicate. These sounds could bounce or change due to water pressure, temperature, and salt levels, which everyone on the ship understood. However, these changes were unusual. About 36 hours into the mission, the drone's data began behaving erratically. Its check-in signals, sent every 10 seconds, occasionally failed to arrive. The drone's navigation system showed it moving even when stationary. Its temperature sensors gave inconsistent readings, fluctuating between very cold and suddenly warm, despite no nearby hot vents. The team initially suspected sensor damage from pressure, but tests showed no damage. The issue seemed to come from external factors. They then noticed something odd. Multiple systems were affected simultaneously. Whenever the depth sensors registered a spike, the underwater microphones detected a soft mechanical noise, a faint hum mixed with static. When this noise repeated, other instruments such as gyroscopes and sonar also glitched together. It appeared that something was disturbing all the instruments at once, intentionally or not. A senior expert suggested the noise was acoustic backscatter, where sound waves reflect irregularly in tight, uneven spaces. In the trench, small changes like shifting rocks or sediment clouds can produce echoes that confuse instruments and cause false readings. Yet this explanation didn't hold up under closer examination. The pulses didn't weaken with distance as real echoes would. Instead, they grew stronger. More alarmingly, the strange pulses followed a clear pattern. Upon careful study, the sounds did not match anything known to the team. They were neither natural such as whale sounds nor from human sonar. One biologist remarked that the pulses resembled whale clicks, but at much lower frequencies than any marine mammal can produce. Unlike real whale sounds that vary in length and fade gradually, these pulses were identically timed, pitched, and lasted the same duration. A worrying thought spread among the team. Maybe something was reacting to the drone. They weren't just hearing echoes, they were being noticed. What followed confirmed it was more than interference. It was a signal. In one of the drone's final messages, there appeared a still image that should not have been there. A faint but enormous shadow, and it was moving. Footage that shook the world. After the drone returned to the surface and was brought onto the research ship, the team quickly began downloading the videos and data it had recorded. Most of the footage showed normal deep-sea scenes, glowing plankton floating like stars, slow-growing bacteria on the trench walls, and clouds of sediment rising like smoke. This was what they had expected to see until the final part of the dive. Near the deepest point, the drone's wide-angle camera captured something that made everyone stop. It looked like bones. The drone briefly flew over a huge skeleton, partly covered in ocean dirt. At first, it appeared to be the ribcage of a large whale, including a spine and part of a jawbone. But something was strange. The bones were unevenly spaced, too far apart in some areas and too close together in others. They bent in ways no whale bones should. Even more unusual, the bones glowed faintly under the drone's special blue lights. The marine scientists were shocked because bones usually do not glow. They watched the video very carefully, frame by frame. The more they looked, the creepier it seemed. The skull was long and stretched out. Where there should have been baleen or teeth, there was nothing, only smooth, crescent-shaped areas. There were also strange features they had never seen in any animal, hook-like shapes along the spine, a double ridge around the eye socket, and patches that looked like hardened soft tissue that had lasted a very long time in the deep sea. Everyone agreed that this was not just trash. It wasn't man-made. It wasn't a normal animal skeleton. The lead scientists decided not to show the video to the public yet. Instead, they locked the files and sent some pictures and short clips to trusted experts in marine biology and evolutionary genetics. They shared it quietly, without informing the news or publishing papers. Just a few scientists communicating through private emails and online meetings, trying to understand what they had discovered. The more scientists saw the footage, the more questions they had. Expert biologists, paleontologists, and whale specialists were all confused. The size and structure did not match anything known, and no one could explain the glowing. Then people began asking why the video was not made public. Some guessed it was already classified. Rumors spread online after blurry images were secretly posted in small ocean science forums. One comment later deleted said, "That footage wasn't meant to be filmed. No one knows if that was a warning or a joke." But the idea stayed with people. The Mariana Trench had revealed something strange, and the real study of it was only just beginning. The tests that followed did not just raise new questions, but they challenged everything we thought we knew about life on Earth. Beyond the whale, what's really out there? At first, people thought the object seen in the drone video was a new kind of whale, possibly a deep-diving species related to Bride's whales. However, after closer examination, experts found many problems with this hypothesis. The bones were unevenly spaced, and their density appeared much higher than any whale previously recorded. The skull was unusually long, and the jaw joints did not match those of any known whales. Next, scientists tested for environmental DNA using samples of deep-sea sediment collected nearby by the drone. This process involved searching for tiny fragments of genetic material left in the environment by living organisms, even if the animals themselves were absent. The results surprised the teams. Some DNA sequences did not match any known marine animals. Even more astonishing, parts of the DNA were much older than any known whale ancestors, dating back hundreds of millions of years to the era of early complex life. It seemed like the discovery of genetic traces from an ancient creature that had evolved independently in the deep sea. Some scientists proposed that this could be a species that evolved separately in the deep ocean, shaped by extreme pressure, cold, and darkness rather than sunlight. Others speculated that it might not be a living animal at all. Some believed it could be artificially created or grown, potentially a biological or engineered structure designed to look like a living creature, perhaps a decoy or a message. Its perfect shape, faintly glowing ribs, and unusual silence did not match any known life forms. Whatever it was, it did not fit into any known animal family, and its age and biological features were difficult to explain. As researchers continued studying the area, they realized this strange structure was not alone, but part of something much larger, possibly still living. The skeleton in the trench and the deep biome phenomenon. After spotting a skeleton-like shape on camera, the researchers examined the trench floor and surrounding wall more closely. They used thermal imaging to detect heat changes, anticipating minimal variation. However, they discovered something unusual: small, regular pulses of heat emanating from the trench wall. These pulses were not random. They spread slowly in circular waves resembling ripples. What was particularly strange and concerning was the consistent timing of these pulses. Simultaneously, sonar mapping equipment revealed subtle changes in the ground. Some areas gradually expanded while others contracted. These shifts did not occur once but continued in a slow, steady rhythm, suggesting the movement or shifting of a large entity beneath the seabed. The pattern appeared deliberate rather than random. The team concluded they were likely observing more than just ordinary rock layers. What seemed to be parts of the trench wall might actually be components of a large living system underground, resembling a nervous system or an organ network beneath the ocean floor. Thus, the skeleton captured on film might not be a dead or intact organism, but rather a segment of a much larger living system. They considered similar natural phenomena. Coral reefs, fungal networks, and tube worm colonies form extensive living structures that can resemble rocks or pipes underwater. These colonies can span miles and even emit heat, light, or faint electrical signals. Therefore, the notion that part of the trench wall could be alive was plausible. This insight also explained the drone's earlier instrument interference. The glitches in the drone's equipment, such as unusual sounds, navigation errors, and temperature fluctuations, occurred because it was near a sensitive living response. The area behaved like a living organism reacting to disturbance. When the drone used sonar or moved in certain regions, Something deep within detected it and responded, causing the glitches. The findings extended further. Near the skeleton, bioluminescent sea creatures began pulsing light in patterns. These light pulses synchronized with the rhythm of an enigmatic sound known as bio-twang, which had mystified scientists for years. The light was organized and repeated with the same timing and pitch as previously recorded sound signals. This led the team to a remarkable hypothesis. The Mariana Trench might conceal a living network beneath the sea floor, transmitting signals. The skeleton-like shape might not be deceased. It could be a limb, a sensory organ, or a communication structure. Whatever it is, it appears to mimic familiar shapes such as whales or bones, possibly for communication with other life forms or for camouflage. If this deep living system has existed for thousands of years, then the whale sounds recorded might actually be responses from this hidden life, rather than solely from whales themselves. Could we be mistaken about whales? The bio-twang sound was officially linked to Bride's whales. But what if that is not the whole story? New videos and studies suggest something more complex and much older. There is a sound source that does not match any known sea animal, yet the whales seem to understand it. They did not create this sound, they learned it. Some scientists now believe whales altered their calls over millions of years because of the Mariana Trench. Imagine many generations of whales diving deep and hearing strange, low rumbles from the trench. These sounds were very different from others in the ocean. Over time, whales might have copied these sounds without knowing their meaning. Just as birds can mimic human speech and some fish imitate other sea animals, early whales might have lived near these deep-sea sounds and adapted their voices accordingly. This idea changes everything. The bio-twang was not just a strange whale sound, it could have been a response to the trench calling first. It also changes how we view the ocean's deepest parts. They might not be empty and unexplored, but may possess some form of awareness. The drone filmed strange things, skeleton-like structures, heat changes, and confused signals, not by accident. It was as if a living system was reacting to the drone like an invader. It altered heat, disrupted the drone's navigation, and flooded its sensors, resembling an immune system fighting off a foreign object. That is why the area was not supposed to be filmed. Something there knew it was being watched and tried to stop it. This was not a one-time error, but a sign of life with boundaries. The drone crossed those boundaries and caught a brief glimpse of something it should not have seen, a possible form of communication or a warning. This is why the videos were released only in fragments and no full reports were shared. It shows the bio-twang sound is not just ours. It is not a mistake and never was. We thought we were solving a mystery, but maybe we were being tested or spoken to. The Mariana Trench might be not only very deep, but also intelligent. What do you think about this? Share your thoughts in the comments. Please like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more great content. Thanks for watching until the end. See you next time.